I'm just not good at this. I hate making mistakes. I can't do it. I don't like to be challenged. Do any of these thoughts sound familiar? I thought so. That's because a lot of us tend to have a fixed mindset when it comes to learning and challenges. We view intelligence, talents, and abilities as something you're born with. Either you have them or you don't. Mistakes are seen as signs of failure rather than opportunities to improve. And challenges are generally avoided rather than embraced. But here's the thing. It's not always our fault that we slip into this fixed mindset. From a young age, many of us receive messages, both direct and indirect, that reinforce the idea that abilities are innate. We were praised for success, but not for effort, judged harshly for failures, and led to believe that intelligence is predetermined. And over time, these experiences shape our mindsets. And we start to believe that our potential is fixed, and we avoid challenges and give up easily, not realizing that perseverance and effort are a key to growth. And as someone who's worked with thousands of students across the world, I see just how many people aren't even aware that their mindset is holding them back from reaching their potential. They attribute their successes and failures to circumstances or luck, not realizing their underlying beliefs shape their actions. So how do you turn this mindset around? How do you go from saying things like, I am not talented, I'll never be as smart as them, there's no point in trying, to embracing things like, I cannot wait to fail because I know failure is a stepping stone to success, not the opposite of success. I want to be challenged and I want this process to be difficult. Through diligent practice and reflection, I know I can improve in any skill. Challenges help me improve my skills. It all comes down to shifting your perspective. But shifting your perspective will take some work and is also entirely possible. So I want to share the 3 major steps to improving your mindset and breaking through these self-limiting beliefs. So step number 1 is understanding what mindset is. And step 2, knowing the importance of a growth mindset. And lastly, we have step 3, learning how to develop a growth mindset. Let's start with step 1, understanding what mindset is. Mindsets, we've all heard of them, but have you ever stopped to think about what it truly means? A mindset refers to the established set of attitudes held by someone. It's a collection of thoughts and beliefs that shape one's thought habits. And thought habits affect how you think, what you feel, and what you do. Your mindset influences how you make sense of the world and how you make sense of yourself. It can be considered as the lens through which you interpret your experiences. And there are 2 common kinds of mindsets, fixed and growth. Imagine wearing 2 different pairs of glasses. One pair of glasses views negative events as fixed and unchanging, while the other views problems in a positive light as an opportunity to improve. For example, you get a C on a test. With a fixed mindset, you might think, I'm just not good at this subject. This is terrible. No matter how much I practice, I'm bad at maths and will always be. But with a growth mindset, the thought shifts to, this is interesting. What can I learn from this as a result? What did I do differently compared to my last test when I scored an A? What can I learn from my mistakes? I'm excited to work on my mistakes. Students with a growth mindset view their abilities, skills, and intelligence as qualities that can be developed through dedication and hard work. And I want you to think about the last time when you got a less than ideal grade on a test, say a C in history or biology when you expected an A. And to make things worse, Rashid on your right, who doesn't even study that much, got an A easily. How did you feel? Did you think that your abilities and your intelligence were set in stone and you were doomed to poor grades because you lacked Rashid's talent? Did you feel disheartened or even threatened by the success of your classmates? How did you react to your poor grades? Did you run away from the problem and continue studying other chapters while ignoring your problem areas? Or did you take your test scores as an opportunity to reflect on your mistakes? A lot of students would have run from that opportunity and felt discouraged after receiving a set of poor results. And if you behave like most students, that is unfortunately the fixed mindset at play. Students with a fixed mindset avoid the process of improvement since they avoid failure in the first place. And when failure inevitably strikes, they immediately declare themselves to be inherently incompetent, which in turn causes them to not reflect and determine how they can improve. And on the other hand, students with a growth mindset understand that intelligence can be cultivated, that academic performance can improve with effort, persistence, and a rigid plan. Growth mindset students recognize that they're not limited to being inherently intelligent or unintelligent. As Dr. Carol Dweck from Stanford University famously puts it, a growth mindset is the belief that intelligence can be developed, for example, through effort, good strategies, and input and mentoring from others. If what I've said resonates with you, you might be thinking, wow, I've never realized I've got a fixed mindset. And that is not your fault. A fixed mindset is often created by external factors, things like parenting styles, societal pressures, and cultural influences all intertwine to shape our mindset. Think back to when you were learning to ride a bike. If you fell and your mum or dad said, maybe you should just give up, cycling just isn't for you. It's also not uncommon to hear comments within the family like, you've never been good with numbers, it's just not your thing. Your brother is the math genius in the family. These remarks within the family setting actually have very negative long-term impacts on your psyche. They are invisibly reinforcing a fixed mindset. And it's not just within the family. You might have heard similar comments from outside your family, say from society. Say a student who fails a competitive exam like the UPSC, JEE, NEET, USMLE, GMAT, LSAT, or the CA. His neighbors may say, these exams are for the exceptionally intelligent. Maybe your talents lie elsewhere, in simpler professions. Or maybe a teacher might say a remark like, some people are born scientists and some are not. Maybe you should focus on subjects where you don't have to work so hard. These damaging comments are how society ingrains a fixed mindset. The concept of mindsets isn't just academic jargon. It's deeply embedded in our daily lives, influencing our decisions, our actions, and even our relationships. As students, understanding the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset can be the key to unlocking your full potential. And if you can recognize that your upbringing might have encouraged a fixed mindset, don't think that this is something that you can't change. You absolutely can. Allowing yourself to look beyond your childhood experiences and learn how to develop a growth mindset. So now that we've unpacked what mindsets are, let's dive deeper into the second step, understanding why adopting a growth mindset is so crucial. Think of any successful person you admire, people who embody being the best at what they do. I bet you their journey to success wasn't a straight line to the top. Success is often a struggle between dealing with challenges, failures, and learning from those very setbacks. Hey, I would go as far as to say that the idea of becoming the best suggests that one needs to be superior to others, and that becoming superior often requires leveling themselves up in the face of setbacks. They, in turn, overcome their shortcomings and become closer to being the best. So the idea that if you want to become the best, you need to make mistakes, but not in the traditional sense. For me, I think of it as mistakes. I quite like this interpretation of mistakes because it reminds you of a director on a film set where it is the expectation that multiple takes are required to get that golden take. In fact, anything less than that seems a little bit weird and almost sloppy. Which is why filming takes a very long time, especially for the best directors with the highest of standards. Think about it. How many takes would an amateur person take of, say, a video of themselves to post on social media compared to Steven Spielberg for one of his films? I am sure that you can find some interesting numbers about how many mistakes the best directors make, even for short scenes that are just a few seconds long. This ability to bounce back from failures is enabled by a growth mindset. And in the grand scheme of things, having a growth mindset isn't just about academic success. It's learning how to handle the different setbacks that life throws at you. Embracing challenges, valuing effort, and learning from setbacks. That's the essence of a growth mindset. And trust me, it's a game changer, not just for students, but for anyone on the path of self-improvement. In fact, the people with the strongest growth mindsets actually rejoice when they make mistakes. Each mistake they make is one less reason that stops them from achieving their goals. Therefore, highly successful individuals with very strong growth mindsets prioritize making as many mistakes as possible well before an important event occurs. Therefore, highly successful individuals with very strong growth mindset prioritize making as many mistakes as possible well before an important event occurs. Think about it. Are you happy to make mistakes before your exam occurs? But how do you actually develop a growth mindset? That's the third and last step. Everywhere you turn, from TED Talks to motivational Instagram posts, there's a buzz about the growth mindset. It's praised, celebrated, and promoted. However, there's a looming question. How do you practically develop this mindset? Here's a huge yet common misconception. Just try to fail more. The more you fail, the more you learn. You learn through trying. Actually, I disagree with that. This problematic approach of just running headfirst into a wall ironically can sometimes reinforce the idea that mistakes are just bad. Why? We're all emotional creatures. More failures can lead to larger feelings of anxiety, reluctance to try again, and a general apprehension about challenges. And frankly, why would anyone enjoy the process of running into walls again and again, trying to break it, but end up not even making a dent? In fact, it would be rather weird for you to enjoy this process. So what's the better way? It starts with reflection. Recognize that mistakes aren't just inevitable, they're valuable. Let's take Alex, a diligent student aiming for an A in history. Despite burning the midnight oil and all the hard work, the test results were disappointing, a C. With a fixed mindset, Alex might think, history just isn't my subject and I give up. But here's where the growth mindset shifts the narrative. Instead of seeing the C as a dead end, Alex sees it as feedback. What chapters did I struggle with? Were my study methods effective? Did I try to truly understand the material or just memorize it? These questions pave the path for growth. Simply diving back into the books without reflecting can lead to a cycle of repeated mistakes, which is why traditional advice on developing a growth mindset by just charging forward is blindly misleading. So just like Alex, you want to dive deeper into your mistakes. Understand them. Ask yourself, what went wrong? How can I approach this differently next time? You'd also want to equip yourself with tools for self-reflection. Maintain a journal, discuss with peers, or even meditate. It's about internalizing those lessons and understanding the whys and hows of each mistake. And then put it into action. Deliberately experiment with new approaches or practices to rectify your mistakes, and always carve out time for review. If you're struggling with effective reflection, make use of this template. How did I feel? What aspects went well? What didn't go as well? And why didn't they go as well? How do I tend to act in these situations? And what can I improve next time? Be sure to download the PDF in the description to use this template. And on the document, you'll also see an example of what a good reflection looks like and what a bad reflection looks like. Remember, it's not about adding more hours to your day, but adding more intention to your hours. Developing a growth mindset isn't a switch that you can flip overnight. It's a journey, a continuous process of evolving, learning, and yes, sometimes stumbling. But with the reflection, understanding, and deliberate practice, you're not just growing your mindset, you're transforming your entire approach to life. Let's summarize the takeaways for today. First, audit your inner voice. Catch yourself when fixed mindset thoughts like, I'm not good enough, arise. Counter them with growth mindset thinking like, instead of backing down from frustration or fear, I embrace them as catalysts for development and signs that I'm extending my abilities through practice. Second, embrace challenges. Rather than avoiding what you struggle with, lean into it. Difficult tasks are how we grow. And third, celebrate progress over perfection. Recognize all improvements, not just flawless outcomes. The journey itself brings growth. Remember, your mindset shapes your reality. Embrace the growth and see obstacles as opportunities. The path forward starts in your mind. If this video resonated with you, Don't keep your growth to yourself. Share it with others who may need to hear this message. And if you personally found it useful, make sure to like and subscribe. I'd also love to hear from you in the comment section below. Share what your biggest takeaway was or an example of how you